Back again for
Yay!
another drift session. Back to Motorsport 7, which they continue to work on. That's actually a good thing. I mean, in many ways, many people, I guess, felt that it was broken. And I guess throughout the time that since its release, they've continued to develop on it, bring out updates. And I feel like it's gotten better.
Uh, Definitely. It's definitely been improving over the last year and a half since it's come out. It's great. It's great, and I'm happy about it because I mean, it's obvious we're not going to get a Forza Motorsport 8 this year, but they're
Yeah.
still, giving attention to this game where it's still keeping it fresh for us, the players. So yeah, I mean, there's still things to come. I can't wait to see what the future holds for the game.
Oh, whoops.
Um,
I screwed up. I just thought the track kept going straight, but it actually turns left, and it went straight into this tire barrier.
oh, nice. You could have
Whoop-de-doo.
just turned around because I was right there.
Oh,
It's
well,
okay.
I'm just trying to find the start of this thing. Because we're at Long Beach in honor of the start of the Formula Drift season, which of course every year is held at Long Beach, California. And I decided to go with Chelsea Sanofa's RTR Mustang. No, what weapon of choice did you decide to go with?
Well, I'm driving Matt Field's old car, the 240 SX. That has now actually been being piloted by our great friend. I can't even say it seriously. By Pat Gooden. Anyway.
Ah, yes. The self-proclaimed king of spring break.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, uh, you know, I have my opinions, but I do like the car. And yeah, it's a oh well, hang on, there you are. I'll back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my weapon of choice because I've been using the Von Gittin car a lot. It's a great car.
Yeah.
But I just want to change it up, not use the same car that you're already driving practically.
Oh, all right. So let's talk about. I don't know. I guess we could talk about some of the new people new faces that we saw this at this event.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, well, we could start with Mike Lemire. I think that was his name. The guy from Australia. He's driving the Get Nuts Laboratory S14 with the S15 front end, the green car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot who he went up against. I think it was Michael Essa. But, I mean, while he did lose the battle, showed a lot of promise, for somebody that's never been to Long Beach.
Yeah.
And speaking of rookies, I had mentioned this to you before, but I feel like Long Beach doesn't really display the rookies at their full potential.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that, I mean, it's a daunting first track to go to,
Yeah.
wow, what a way to start the season and start your professional career at a track that can pretty much destroy your car and maybe even financially destroy your career.
Well,
So,
don't mean to veer off, but I think you brought up a good point in regards to destroying your car, because look at what happened with Ryan Turk, right?
yeah, and he's a veteran, and, we know that he's always been, top 10 drivers. Oh, he's ugly there. But, yeah, he's one of the top 10 drivers every year. He's a great driver. But, I mean, unfortunately, what happened to him wasn't really so much driver error, just a mechanical error.
Yeah.
Where, the power steering belt snapped and, well, at at the point that it happened, there was not much for him to do to save it, you know. So I hope, you know, I'm glad he's all right because it was a hard hit. I'm glad he went into the tire barrier instead of the straight up concrete barrier. And I hope he can, you know, I hope he feels better because I know there's a lot of, he's going through a little bit of pain. And, you know, hopefully he could muster up a car before Orlando, which I'm sure he can. He's got good sponsors. So that was my butt right there.
How bad was the damage? Because I recall seeing it, but I didn't really like stop to look at the details.
Well, I didn't see much. I saw the crash itself. I didn't see the actual damage of the car like in detail.
Yeah.
But from what I could see, I mean, like from that hit, you know, yeah, he hit pretty hard. It was reminiscent. Maybe not as hard, but it was a little reminiscent of the crash that Darren McNamara had in the Saturn Sky.
Yes, I remember that.
You know, I think he hit the wall faster than Darren. It's just that Darren hit the concrete, which rode off the car. Yeah, but this is more like, you know, this is a faster hit just on a softer barrier. Which, luckily for him, that worked out for his, you know, well-being. Oh, I saw that. I looked back at the right moment.
Like, ow.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mike Lanier, going back to the rookies, Mike Lanier looks promising. I would like to see what he does in Orlando. And then Road Atlanta is where they usually come out to shine because there's not many barriers to hit. So their confidence is a little higher. But, you know, really want to see what they do for the rest of the season as I spin out here. Who's another rookie? There's several other rookies that I can't think of their name right off the top of my head.
Well,
one's
actually,
called Joao.
Well, let me help you out. And it's sort of, it'll tie into like what's, you know, some of the controversy going on even before the event started, and that is with the electric EV powered Camaro.
Oh yeah, Travis Reeder. Well, before we get into the Camaro, let's just say how impressed I am with his driving. Coming from Pro 2, I mean, we've seen many Pro 2 drivers come into the series and not look very impressive. But, you know, besides, you know, Alex Helbron, he's one of the very few that's been impressive right off the bat. But Travis is in a car that makes 500 horsepower, and it's not exactly prepped, you know, the same way as some of these higher-end FD cars. And he's keeping up with cars that have twice the power and, you know, probably like 4 times the money in R&D, you know. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm impressed. And, I really want to see what he does in that Camaro. Unfortunately, we couldn't see what happened due to a problem with the Long Beach Fire Department.
Yeah.
You know, which is one of the main controversies of this weekend. It's sad because, I mean, you know, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of EVs. I don't particularly think of them as being very exciting, but I was curious to see, you know, like, are we looking at the future of drifting? Is this going to really work out? How is a rookie going to do in a car that nobody's ever seen in pro drifting before, or you know, a type of car that nobody's seen in pro drifting before? So, which makes me excited for Orlando because I really want to see this car. But it's something that I think Formula Drift.
Ah, shoot.
It's all good. I saw that happening, so I just went around. but it's something that Formula Drift and the city of Long Beach have to work together for next year if they plan on running an EV next year. So, because I mean, I wasn't the only one that was curious. I mean, there's many people. There's a lot of hate on the internet about the car, and
What kind of hate?
and I see what people just want, internal combustion cars.
Oh,
Because and I partly agree. Well, I mostly agree. A lot of the excitement of drifting comes through the noise of the exhaust and the turbos and wastegates and all that. Like it's two-step. Like that's exciting. When you're pulling up to the track and you start hearing these noises, there's a thing inside of you that just starts like, whoa, like it's happening, we're here, And with EVs, we're not going to get that. It's kind of like we're losing something. But it does not make me any less curious to know what's going to happen. Oh, we got a good run here.
Spoke too soon, buddy.
Oh, it was really good for a while, man. Like, I was kind of running right into that door for a little bit. At least from my perspective.
Yeah. Well, I'm in car, so I can't really see it.
I'm in car as well. So, I mean, yeah. Anything you have to say about any of the rookies or the controversy?
I still want to touch on the car and the drivetrain in particular. I mean, I just feel like that is the future. I mean, you're seeing, for instance, Formula E sort of kind of like gaining traction in regards to some sort of fan appreciation, and obviously more manufacturers are getting involved, so they feel like this is, electric is the future. It's just to what form are we going to see it at? And I mean, I saw it long ago, like because looking at in Le Mans how hybrids were being utilized as sort of kind of like as a stepping stone into the electrified racing future. And you see and you saw success with it. Obviously, many people thought that where's this going, what's going on, and it proved to be something very, very good, and in some ways very beneficial to sort of bringing excitement to the sport. As you saw with Toyota's entry and what they were doing, and Porsche as well, what they were doing, the V4 919, right?
Yeah. Well, you could even go as far as to talk about the Volkswagen at Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
That was an all-electric vehicle, and that was very impressive.
I mean, that's sort of like what's going on, that's been going on recently, but I was just kind of like trying to like talk about how like it's been progressing that way. It's obviously
coming from hybrids.
Yeah, coming from hybrids, and then it kind of like as a stepping stone into like full electric. So you're starting to see, like I mentioned already, Formula E, and and now you're seeing these electric cars in Pikes Peak. That's obviously drawing attention. So, but what's funny is that they were Formula Drift. They had announced, and I'm talking about years ago. They had announced that they were going to introduce a full electric car that was going to compete, and I mean, they had the car and they had a like press release and everything. But when it came down to the start of the season, it was nowhere to be found. It was sort of swept under the rug. I don't remember exactly the exact year, but this was probably at least 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But I guess perhaps it just still wasn't viable the technology wasn't viable yet, and now it seems like it's become more feasible. Because I'm sure
Yeah,
back in the day, it's like you have to be like a huge car manufacturer in order to have the R&D and the engineers available to actually get it in racing form. But
of course.
now you're seeing like, usual like these aftermarket shops that are able to actually put something together. Like I think you're starting to see. I mean, the Camaro is just an example, but I recall like
Yeah.
coming across like these other cars, like an old Shelby Cobra that's been retrofitted with an electric battery.
Right. Well, I even say this: if you follow the Hoonigan channel on YouTube, they there was an electric 86 A86
Oh,
drift car. Yeah, it was pretty neat. It was pretty neat. You know, again, nothing I got too excited about, even though it is using my favorite car
yeah,
of all time. But it's and I do see, yes, this is the future of motorsport. If drifting does go full electric at any point, I mean, I'm still going to be interested in the sport itself because, I mean, I'm interested in the sport as it is.
yeah,
My problem is that there's going to be something missing.
yeah,
Some of the magic for me is going to be missing, and you know, I remember as a kid going to any motorsport event, you know, just before getting to the track, you could just hear the cars. And there's something like, you know, a good example is a few years ago, Formula D came down to Miami, to Homestead.
yeah,
And I took my little brother. It was kind of an off year. I was kind of not really excited about FD that year. For whatever reason, I did continue to watch it later in the season just to keep up. But either way, oh my bad.
you're good.
Either way, ooh, driving like Pat Gooden. Oh, you know what's funny is that Pat Gooden did battle Chelsea this weekend.
Yeah,
And we're driving these cars. Anyway, so I'm taking my little brother to this so he could check it out. He's never been to a drift event. He's never, you know, been to any motorsport event. I don't think he's ever been to it. He was 10 years old at the time.
yeah,
And you know, before we could hear the cars practicing, the drivers practicing, and the cars and everything. And my little brother was like, "Whoa, these cars, they sound crazy. Like, this is loud and like this, they sound wicked." And you know, like my little brother was already getting excited before getting into the track. You know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and I feel like if we go all electric, that's gonna be something that's gonna go away. It's sad. It's sad for me, and I don't want to let it go. You know, I'm sentimental about it. You know,
yeah,
because of like the memories I've grown up with and everything. But I do understand. You know, winning is winning, and if electric cars are gonna be, I'll turn around here because we screwed up pretty bad.
All right.
If electric cars are going to be winning all the time, and they're going to be, you know, and electric motors are going to be, and batteries are going to be a viable source to bring motorsports alive, then okay, cool, man. I mean, it is what it is. I guess I'll have to accept it.
Yeah.
Because I am still interested in motorsport anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm always gonna remember the old days.
Yeah. My question though is, if will FD get to the point where they will have to create a subdivision? Obviously, like for instance, right now we have Pro and Pro 2, but
Yeah.
will they do something where like you have Formula 1 and Formula E? like an
Yeah,
all-electric subdivision, and I think it'll depend more on how the Camaro, whenever it gets to run, how it performs this season.
right, right. I could see them doing okay, like they have Pro 2, Pro 1, and then let's say a Pro E. You know? Yeah, I could see them doing that, but then they are also limited at the events by time. You know? So I mean, you're really jamming in so many events in one event. Mm-hmm. It becomes tough. So I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll be like, hey, if you want to be old school and run internal combustion, then cool, man. That's on you. But just know that electric cars are really what's taking over, and they're doing very well. If it gets to that point,
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm sure the electric car
good.
It's going to have some sort of drawback. It's just there's still just a lot of questions up in the air. So who knows?
I see a lot of drawbacks in like when it comes to like feel. You know, like I'm the kind of person that likes to hear the car, not for any sentimental reasons, but it allows me to drive the car. Like right now, if we were playing in electric cars, I'd have a lot of trouble, like trying to figure out, what my wheel speed is, and and just how much gas I got to give it, or I guess power, because it's not gas anymore.
Yeah.
But I think that's one drawback. But I can't really see much else, because I think as electric vehicles become more and more popular and get more and more refined, they're going to definitely be more reliable than a mechanical car or an internal combustion car, because there's going to be less moving parts.
Yeah.
Moving parts are a big problem in any kind of car. Any part of the car that has moving parts is you're creating problems because you're throwing weight around, and really EVs what moves, it's a brush that's going around that a shaft is connected to, and then that's how you get the wheels moving.
Yeah.
I mean, so I see like maybe most of the failures would come from batteries, maybe from like a motor being burnt out, because but it's gonna be so little. The problems are gonna be so little that I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, the way to win is to be reliable. It's part of a way. One of the ways to win is being reliable, and EVs are giving us that.
Yeah.
And I could see that coming, like in that sense. But
well, you touched on a good point. I mean, what's going to happen? Like, for instance, you're at the Final Four, and obviously you're going to have to go from back-to-back run, and your battery can't cool down fast enough in order for you to compete for the final battle. What's going to happen? You get what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it comes down to the same thing. I mean, look at Dean Carney this weekend in the Viper, which is another point that we'll talk about, I guess, later on. But, I mean, he couldn't keep his car cool because he blew a head gasket. So it comes down to, like, the same thing. But I feel like it might be easier. Oh, snap. It might be easier to cool down electric components over mechanical components. Because, a big part of where heat comes from in the engine is friction. There's a lot of parts that are rubbing against each other, whether there's even if there's oil between them, there's still friction,
Yeah.
and that's, and yeah, you know, uh, it, there's friction in electric motors too. Actually, now I remember, a lot of these electric motors are brushless, so there's not even that much friction going on in there either, if any. So I mean, we have another advantage for electric cars. But yes, batteries do tend to get hot, especially if you're squeezing all the juices out of them, Oops, snap. But I'm pretty sure, the engineers and the teams and everything have figured out a way to keep them running cool. Napoleon Motorsports, they said that their car can run on one charge for a whole day. From from practice all the way down to the finals, if they and with several one more times if they have to.
Yeah.
So I think reliability is going to be their strong suit, really. And it might even get down to the point where we have water cooled batteries, like we have with water cooled computers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there's there's going to be a lot of refinements, and once those refinements are made, internal combustion cars are going to have problems. They're going to start. They're fossils.
Yeah.
As sad as it is, I hope in my lifetime we'll always have internal combustion cars competing. But I completely understand, if it has to go to electric.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts.
It's a lot of thoughts and a lot of questions that are still pending to be answered.
Unanswered.
So, yeah, so I guess as the season goes, well, hopefully we'll get it figured out. I just think that in many ways, perhaps people in Long Beach are like, no, we're not going to be the subject of this electric test. Let Florida handle it.
If it catches on fire, let Florida man deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Florida man.
Oh, the Florida man memes. Oh man, the memes are great.
Oh, boy.
I know I don't live in Florida anymore, but I'm always sharing anything from Florida. It's pretty funny. What else was I gonna say? Oh well, I mean, do you have any other thoughts about the EVs?
I think for the most part I said what I needed to say. It's just unfortunate what transpired. It's kind of crazy and ironic, but what can you do, man? I mean, sometimes a lot of times these things are just beyond your control, and you do what you can. And I think the worst part about it is that they had to find out practically at the last minute, and
Yeah.
they couldn't really give them time to really sort of come up with an alternate solution, and the car had to sit out because of it.
Right. And I mean, something to go along with that is, I mean, anytime you have a first of anything, there's always going to be problems that people didn't really account for.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not 100% their fault of Formula D. I mean, they've never encountered this issue, but now that they have, I hope that next year they're going to be more prepared for any issues like that, and and probably even come up with solutions to other things that could be similar but have not come up yet. Like if a car wants to run on propane, I guess, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Natural gas, yeah. Solar power.
Yeah.
Hydrogen.
Yeah. I mean, those are examples. I mean, but or whatever. Like, you know, some car has a new sort of
Alternative
engine
fuel.
layout or whatever. Yeah, alternative fuel or the new engine layout or whatever. Just okay, cool. You know, like hopefully, you know, they see that problem coming ahead of time and like, hey, is this gonna be okay? You know. But you know, I'm trying to keep an open mind about the whole thing. A little tough, you know.
Hey,
But,
so let's switch gears for a moment. Let's
sure.
What are your thoughts on Pat coming back? Pat Gooden. Okay.
You had to.
Well, I mean, look, he's a Florida man, and
he is the Florida man.
Look, he's done his fair share of newsworthy antics.
Right, and you know what, man? You know what? Good for him. Good for him. Obviously, you know, from the my tone of voice and everything, I'm not a big fan.
Oh, laying it out. All right.
You know, a lot of my friends and myself have had a lot of run-ins with Pat in the past. And, you know, the way he handles some confrontations and stuff is just, well, you know, not the best, especially being a professional driver.
Look, he doesn't care. He's just king of spring break. Why is he going to care how you feel about it? All right? Come on now.
Right. I mean, great. But, I mean, he's also got sponsors, you know, to appease. So, I mean, like, you know what? Good on him, man. He's got a great car, a car that's won 2 events. You know, so the car has the potential.
Wait,
does
2
he
events,
have the potential as
in real life or in game?
No, in real life, yes, it's won 2 events.
Okay.
Yeah, 2017 or 2016. Either way, it's won 2 events. One in Texas and one in Irwindale. Either way, you know, good for him, man. I mean, you know, he's back doing what he loves to do. You know, I wish him the best. Just, you know,
look,
I wad up the car. Matt Field won't be too happy.
Yeah, I feel like he's already doing better than he did before. Because I recall him the last time that he ran, which, I mean, if you recall, he was running, was it an S13 with like a 1980s racing livery or something like that?
Well, no, the last time he ran, it was an S13 with a supercharged LS, kind of similar setup engine-wise to what he has now, but it had an ISR livery on it. It was white, and I'll be honest. Well, one of the years, this car was pretty ugly. I'll be real, like with that yellow bumper bar. But he had a pretty good looking car in one of the years. I was kind of like, oh, that it looks good.
Yeah.
You know? Either way, yeah, that car obviously, you know, not built by any reputable. I don't want to say not built by a reputable shop, but obviously it could have been better built. I mean, the thing seemed like it was held together by zip ties and bubble gum. So, and maybe a little duct tape.
Of course.
For some invincibility.
Yeah.
But yes, obviously, in Matt Field's car, he did do better, but I still wasn't very impressed. You know, but I mean, again, first event in the car, you know, he already showed progress compared to the last time he was driving. But we'll see. I mean, you know, like I said, I wish him luck. You know, we'll see what comes out of it. You know.
Yeah.
And I hope for Matt Field's health, Pat doesn't wad up the car because, oh boy.
any of the
Yeah,
rookies
what are
that,
your thoughts?
well, no, it's just that. Mainly that so far it looks like he's doing better than he did with his old car, so it's very promising. I'm glad to see he's back. I mean, I have no beef with him. I mean, whatever he did, he did. Okay. I mean, what can you do about it? But I'm just gonna focus on his performance, and so far his performance is promising. So I'm curious to see what he does, in particular in Orlando, his home track.
Right. I mean, yeah. Yeah, let's see what happens, man. I mean, you know, if he does well, cool, man. He's doing well.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll just leave it at that.
I don't. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'll just say. I'll also say that, you know, that year I did take my little brother to FD. I'll be straight up about this.
Oh boy.
I don't know if you want to edit this out later.
Okay.
But, I took my little brother to FD. He wanted to meet some of the drivers, and I was like, hey, I kind of know Pat, so, you know, let's go up to him and talk to him, you know, like, I know where he's at. So I go up to him, hey, what's going on, Pat? And he's kind of like, hey, and I'm like, hey, this is my little brother, and he kind of looked at him and kind of like, didn't give any enthusiasm, you know, and my brother was kind of like, whoa, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And I go, and
Well, look,
I told my little brother.
for all we know, he was probably
told-
having a bad time because his car wasn't set up right.
Great. But 10-year-old kid, man, you kind of
Alright.
have to set all that aside, you know.
Okay.
I would think, you know. But
Yeah.
what my response to my little brother was like, he's just mad that he sucks.
Oh.
So yeah. So that
Oh, wow.
you know, I
Shots
kind
fired.
of got mad. Yeah, I don't get me wrong. He's doing much more than I've ever done. I mean,
Oh, of
granted,
course.
you know,
Oh, of course.
but I mean, we're talking about FD caliber drivers, all right? But anyway, I mean, I you know, I just didn't like the fact that he was kind of like that with my little brother, you know, being around. I kind of wish he would have
Well,
taken
maybe
a little more.
maybe if he hears this, he'll find a way to redeem himself. And if he doesn't, well then, deal with it. I guess. I don't know. Oh shoot. Redo. Do over.
I have more people with more stories. So if you ever want more, we could talk about that another time
no.
outside of this.
It's Hibino's true drift stories. Yeah,
Okay, so we talked about
so
that.
bro, so I'm there in the pit, and all of a sudden this guy comes up, and I'm like, what's the matter with you?
So anyway, whatever. Other rookies. We talked about Travis Reeder.
Yeah.
Impressive, very impressive driver. We talked about Mark. Mark Lanier. Yeah, impressive driver as well.
Yeah.
Another driver that didn't qualify, but it was due to mechanical issues rather than his driving ability. Dylan Hughes, from what I saw in qualifying, you know, if he wouldn't have had those mechanical issues, another promising Pro 2 driver. In fact, last year, I remember him specifically and Travis Reeder really giving it to each other all year. They're both excellent drivers, so I'm really excited to see Dylan Hughes in that E46. Is it an E46? I think I remember an E46. Yeah, I'm really excited to see him for the rest of the year because, you know, another rookie that looks promising, and we have a really good rookie class, it seems. I think this is the first year where I could say, man, some of these veterans are going to have to look out. You know? We finally, you know, oh, snap. Sorry, Matt Fields, talking about wadding up your car.
Wah, wah.
Um. So anyway, yeah, man. I mean, yeah,
Okay. Here's something. How about those Cadillacs, man?
yeah. One was guy
I know
from
one of them was an
Atlanta.
ATSV.
Yeah, the guy from Atlanta. I always forget his name. Um, but much
Oops.
improvement from last year. And then the other Cadillac. Well, I guess he didn't qualify, but I mean, and again, Long Beach is not the place to showcase rookies. But I'm waiting. I can't wait to see what he does in Orlando, Atlanta, and the rest of the season because, you know, it's cool to have Cadillacs. I mean, 15 years ago, if you would have told me like, "Hey, we're gonna have Cadillacs drifting in the future," I would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
You know, but then Cadillac started coming out with some pretty dope cars. Outside of their luxury. I mean, Cadillacs always had some pretty cool cars, but but now they have like performance cars in the last 15 years. So it's pretty cool. Oh boy.
Do over.
So it's pretty. Yeah, that was bad. Uh,
I
so
thought
it's
for a
cool, man.
moment there, I was looking at it like one of those like Chevy commercials, where they're like, "Oh, I switched to Cadillac. I switched to Cadillac." It's like, well, this is odd. This is odd. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy, man. We're getting a variety of cars out there that we
oh
never had
shoot,
before. So yeah.
wall to wall action.
Um,
Like, and the other thing
Cadillacs, man.
too.
Yeah, cool.
The other thing too. It just felt like it's something like straight off the game, because usually the Cadillacs are like I mean, in motorsport, in Forza is like,
Yeah,
oh, let me build this like odd car in the game
yeah.
to just slide around with. So I see these cars, I'm like, wait a minute, is this real life? What's going on here? What's going on with these Cadillacs?
It's like every year Forza is becoming more and more of a reality. You know, like I remember when I went to my first Grid Life event in Atlanta, the first year they were there, 2016.
Yeah.
The first thing I said was, "Oh, this is Forza Horizon in real life." Oh wow, that was embarrassing.
Yeah. It happened to me earlier,
yeah, that
so
was
it happens to the best of us.
yeah. So yeah, that and now we're having some like oddball cars, man. And let me tell you, Grid Life has some really oddball cars. I saw a Plymouth Duster.
Oh.
It's one of these, yeah, really old car from the early '70s, out there drifting, man, and it had like crazy angle kit and all that. Obviously it definitely had suspension from another car. But I thought it was so cool to see something like that.
Shoot.
But and so you just never know what you're gonna see next year in Formula Drift. I mean, we might see some crazy stuff, something really old or like something that's never thought of as a drift car. You just never know what's gonna happen,
Yeah, man. Maybe
now,
next year we'll see a Plymouth Prowler.
I think that would be kind of cool, man. As long as they take that V6 out of it and put a V8.
Or a Chevy SSR.
Well, unfortunately, trucks are not allowed. But
That's messed up.
But hang on. Then how do we explain the Maloo in Pro 2?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Obviously. So I mean, if they can they consider it a car, but they might be able to do the same for the SSR.
I want to see if they ever have trucks. If they ever allow pickup trucks, I want to have it so that they have to be trailering something and they have to drift that as well.
Okay, all right. I'll go along with that. Yeah, I would like to see that for entertainment value.
Of course.
another car. Maybe it's not new to the series or nothing really special. But I mean, and even though he didn't do too hot in it, Kyle Mohan in the RX-8. I want to
Ah,
say that I am happy he's out of the MX-5. I mean, as much as I am a fan of Miatas, unfortunately,
yeah,
they're not the most suited car for drifting, at least at that level.
yeah.
You know, at this level, 1,000 horsepower monsters, short wheelbase really doesn't really come together very well.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
yeah, that was bad. But anyway, I'm happy he's in a new car. Hope he gets it dialed in quick.
What happened on
I
his
think Kyle
first
has
run?
a
Where it broke?
Oh, it was bad in qualifying, right? Like it just kind of
No,
just fell apart, or
it wasn't in qualifying. It was in the competition.
in the
We're talking
competition.
about the white RX-8, right?
White? No, it's black. Is it white? I thought it was black with like a whole bunch of design on it. I'll look it up again.
Yeah.
Either way, it's the only RX-8. Either way, I'm just happy that he's out of the MX-5 and he's in a chassis that can be developed to do well in drifting. We've seen RX-8s before. They're not exactly bad cars. They work. Chassis is good. Yeah, I'm happy about that. Who else has a new car, a new setup? Hey, that VR38 in Chris Forsberg's car, that thing's working, obviously, very
yes.
well.
Yes, it is. Yes.
I'm happy he's out of the VQ because that VQ was definitely not really, it's not meant to make 1,000 horsepower. They're pretty good engines up to about 600 horsepower, but after that, then they're very hard to keep together. What else? Who else has a new car or something different done to their car? I don't really think of much. I like Forswang's new livery.
Yeah, I like it too.
Looks good. Looks stylish. He's always very stylish.
I don't know how I feel about Odie's livery. I just feel like it's missing something. I don't know what it is about it.
Yeah, it's the same from last year, but yeah, I do agree.
Something's off.
Looks like it doesn't look like a pro FD car. It looks like a low budget. I don't know if you've ever watched like the European series.
No.
Like BDC or. And I'm not talking them down. They have excellent drivers over there, but obviously they don't have the money that the FD guys have.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like it belongs over there.
Yeah.
But hey, man, what can we say? I mean, that livery doesn't matter. I mean, he delivered a performance this weekend like no other. I mean, he was consistent. He was aggressive. And in the last couple of years, I've been watching Odie develop into his driver where he's kind of always been sandbagging or left foot braking in front of people, but this past weekend it looked like it was just straight up. He was driving straight up, very aggressive, and it was good to watch. Good to watch.
Yeah.
So.
Let's just move on over to some of the notable battles. I got a list of it actually. Hold on, let me see. Let me pull it up. Well, we spoke about Chelsea against Pat. So there was some controversy, I think, with JTP's crash with Alec Hollandale. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that pretty clearly.
So what do you remember about it?
Unfortunate for. I remember JTP had a pretty solid lead run. Alec had a few mistakes, chasing him down, and then when they turned around, JTP goes really aggressive. at first glance, I was like, oh, Alec might have slowed down a little bit too much, and JTP had nowhere to go and just kind of ran into him. Excuse me. But then, after really like watching it a couple of times, and excuse me, that was terrible.
Ooh.
After watching after watching it a couple of times and really like analyzing what was going on, it just seemed like JTP was just gunning for his door, and if something happened in front of him, he wouldn't care. He was going to run him over. And we've seen behavior like this from JTP before. It hasn't surfaced a lot in the last few years, but but knowing his past, I mean, it's not very surprising. Oh snap! That wasn't. Oh boy. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't happy with the outcome of that. I mean, Alec definitely deserves, more respect.
Yeah. Put some respect to my name.
Yeah, but JTP is a big name in the series. Not as big as Vaughn or Forsberg or anything, but he does have a big name, and sponsors are. He's got a lot of responsibility, and I think he should be more mindful of that, because sponsors.
Oh shoot!
They like it when people are nice. How
do you know that?
A good case. I mean, come on. They want somebody that's personable and
for all we know, they want controversy, so that way it brings more attention. And then when they look up JTP, they're like, "Oh, what does he drive?" And then they see his car, and they're like, "Oh, he's sponsored by I don't know, Falcon, right? He's sponsored by Falcon."
Yeah.
So they're like, Mustang. So they're like, "Oh, he's sponsored by Falcon. Wait a minute, hold on, my tires are showing wear. I better get new ones. Oh, Falcon tires." And the next thing you know, bam, they got a sale.
For something that you just came up with out of nowhere, you put a lot of thought into that. So, I'm going to stop you right there. That was terrible.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, but...
Change your colors, so let's see here. Either way, yeah, that was kind of a dick move by JTP, but we've seen this behavior from him before. And hopefully he could clean up his act a little bit in those regards. I know he's a very aggressive driver. He's a good driver too. But no, his spotter should have told him, if he did tell him, like, hey, you don't have to drive that aggressive. If you just keep up with the guy, you should win it.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens in the next rounds. It is the first round. A lot of people were excited to get out there, and drive. So the adrenaline might have played a part. But yeah, I definitely saw JTP at fault.
Did you see the battle between Dean and Kyle Mohan?
I did. I'm not remembering it too well, because it was kind of one of those battles where you kind of like throw it away because you kind of know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Kyle Mohan. He's a cool dude. I met him last year. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But speaking of JTP, but I mean, let's be real. I mean, it's James Dean versus Kyle Mohan. Oh, Mustang love here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was all thrown off. I hit so many walls. Anyway, so I don't remember much of that battle. But go ahead with your analysis on it.
Yeah, I don't remember much of it either. I'm trying to look it up right now. It's just it's a hard time trying to. I mean, you got the whole broadcast split 6 hours long, so if you're trying to like pinpoint the actual runs to sort of be able to talk about it, yeah.
More towards the beginning, maybe?
Yo, no, I know.
Or towards the...
I'm towards the beginning. Like right now, I'm seeing Austin Meeks against a Peta.
Oh, yeah. Austin Meeks is the other guy in the Cadillac.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah, he has potential, man. He has potential to be a good driver, you know?
Yeah, seeing that. What else? Then you got Von McGinnon Jr. against Kazuya Taguchi. I think that was the last battle, right?
That was the last battle, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so weird seeing the GTR on there. I was like, all right, well, let's see what it does. And then when I started running, I was like, yeah, they need to work on it.
Yeah, that car has been around for a couple of years now.
Really?
Yeah, he hasn't had a very good result with the car.
Uh-huh.
I think he's made it to the top 16 a couple of times with it.
Yeah.
I would have to confirm with
your
some
sources.
People that I know. Yeah, my sources. I didn't want to sound too official. I didn't want to say that, but you already said it, so okay. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, well, we've been talking to one of the mechanics.
You don't have to say that.
Of that car.
You don't have to say that. Just keep a source. That's it. Sheesh,
okay,
making it worse for yourself. Digging yourself into a deeper hole. Good job.
Well, I mean, either way. Yeah, so I mean, the driver's just not comfortable in that car. The GTR hasn't really proven itself very much outside of Masato Kawabata in Japan, you know, where he won a championship with that car. But he's the only one that's really been very successful with that car. So, I mean, you know,
maybe he's afraid to ruin the warranty on the car.
Yeah, or, you know, whop a chassis that probably costs as much as his house, you know.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, we do know that he's going to be going to an S15 with a VR38 this year. So the S15 is a chassis he's much more familiar with. He runs that chassis in Formula D Japan and other minor series out there. I think that he's also done D1 in an S15. And I've seen him in the S15. He's no slouch, you know. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what he could pull off with a chassis he's familiar with. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. Oh, I think you got something here. Keeping it. Trying to keep it close. It's a lot of angle. You're going crazy.
You shouldn't have said anything. I probably would have focused a little bit better.
Hold on. So, I'm just like scrolling. Well, I see Kyle now. Who's he going up against? He's by himself.
I don't know, but you're going up against my front end.
Oh, whoops. Well, they always tell you, always keep your eyes on the road. Obviously, I failed at that right now.
Just start following your own advice and help you out.
Oh, damn it. Shoot. I feel like this car needs more grip.
I feel like it has plenty. It's just the amount of power it has.
What else do I have on my list? We got to see a donk. Well, I got to see a donk.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen that. I mean,
get a little sideways. That was a highlight for me for the event. When I saw that, I was like, all right, boys, pack it up. There's no need to see anything else. Forget the rest of the competition. I was entertained. That was it. Go home. Everybody go home.
Um,
Yeah. Go. I'm telling you, that was a perfect opportunity to raise awareness for donk drifting. We've been doing it for years in Forza, and I think it's time for the real world to get a taste of something that we've cherished and enjoyed, and and really, I think it's there's a lot of branding opportunities for companies. For I mean, in the game, it's pretty evident how you have Kellogg's involved, you have McDonald's involved, even particular cities. They want to put their mark on these vehicles, and putting it in real life,
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect opportunity for them to branch out into the youth, especially with considering
And they don't
how
need.
it's a bigger
And
car, so obviously more advertising real estate. So everybody wins.
yeah, and not only that, the best part is for these companies, they don't even have to pay for the sponsorships due to the fact that people who have donks just put it on their car anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because usually they feel compelled to put it on because of it's something from their youth or their pastime that they've enjoyed, and they want to share it to the world. They want to let people know, like, hey, look, I support Kellogg's because Kellogg's Frosted Flakes got me through tough times. They're great. By the way, full
oh
disclosure,
boy.
none of these companies are that we just mentioned are paying us. We're not getting any sort of advertising or anything like that. This is
Yeah.
just stuff that we're just throwing out there because we appreciate donks.
Yeah.
And the
And
what they stand for.
but on a side note, if they would like to pay us, we are
Oh yeah,
accepting.
we are open to
Gladly accepting.
marketing and advertising opportunities. We'll get that sorted out where you can reach us soon enough. But for now, no advertising, no sponsorships, no funds were exchanged to make this broadcast possible. In any case, whoa, careful there, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Just I think I'm gonna have to start using third gear instead of fourth through there.
Oh shoot! I keep switching off to the wrong gear, like into reverse. Shoot.
You don't have to
That's
downshift that much. You got power.
yeah. For some reason I listed Matt Field versus Ken Gushi. Did something happen in that battle?
Not that I could think of.
In
One that I
particular, the
can
result.
think of.
That's what I wrote down.
I know that Matt Field won that, and it was pretty apparent. His lead run was again exceptional.
Yeah.
As he's been driving all weekend. Obviously, with that 99-point run in qualifying, that was very impressive. I mean, I was blown away with that run. I was like, that has to at least be a 99 or 100 because there's no way that's any less.
Yeah.
I mean, besides maybe a little wavering from the front wheels, nothing was wrong with that run, and I think that's the only thing they got him for.
Yeah.
Just a little like quick turn in, which was barely even noticeable.
What about what about the upset that Oswald created when he knocked out James Dean? Or some may say how James Dean knocked himself out.
Well, it was pretty sad. I mean, because James, we've come to know James as probably the best driver in the field. I mean, he's very consistent. You know, he knows exactly how to place the car where he needs it to be. But I mean, Osbo, man, Osbo's Osbo, and he was on it this weekend. Unfortunately, what happened with James is that he was down on power. He had to disconnect his nitrous system due to some inconsistencies. Sometimes it was delivering nitrous, sometimes it wasn't. Then other times, like, he would lift off the throttle, but the nitrous was still going, so it still had power running through it. So it was even getting dangerous. So they decided to disconnect it, and well, obviously he was down on power, and being down on power is something that could be a little tough for a driver to overcome when they get used to that kind of power, especially with the grip that some of these cars are generating. So that's why James Dean didn't make it. But then we saw what happened to Osbo in the final four. I believe it was against Forrest Wang.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yes, it was Forrest Wang.
Ah.
Because Forsberg was going up against Odie. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm starting to think, did Odie go up against Osbo? Whatever. Anyway.
I can tell you right fast. I'm like towards the end of the footage. Wait, that's Forrest Wang being interviewed.
Yes,
Forsberg against Odie.
Forsberg. So it was Wang versus Osbo, and anybody would have told you, well, Osbo's gonna get that win. Well, as good as Toyota engines are, 1,000 horsepower, in a four-cylinder is a lot of stress. And, they had a problem. If you would listen as the cars were coming by, it sounded like a Subaru. Obviously, it was running on 3 cylinders.
Yeah.
They later discovered, shortly after that, they discovered that a spark plug had broken off.
Ooh.
And part of it was in the turbo housing.
Oh, my. That's not good.
Yeah, so, hey, props for Papadakis building some really badass engines.
Yeah.
But I mean, displacement is kind of hard to beat, when you start coming up to those power levels.
Yeah.
Because obviously reliability becomes an issue. But so it sucked. It sucked to see that. But then again, I'm happy to see Forrest Wang in the podium again.
Yeah, it was great to see, not only to see Forrest Wang on podium, but also to see somebody else that you're not really accustomed to seeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. It was really weird to see both Wardhouse cars out of competition so early.
Yes.
By the grade 8, it's like, what? Like, these guys are always in the top 4, at least one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fresh change of pace. Of course, Forsberg was still in the top 4. So, as they mentioned in the stream, Forsberg gets the win. They were having a little joke about that. Because it's actually become a problem. Yeah, they were really making a joke about that. I thought that was kind of funny.
No, I don't think it's as good of a joke as when they were saying Tyler McCory gets the win.
Yeah. Well, the whole controversy with Forsberg. Oh, he's always winning. They just give him the wins.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people have come up with, Forsberg gets the win. So then.
Yeah.
they started joking about that. But either way, I mean, it was still a good round. A lot of things where they were also mentioning, they were splitting hairs on some of the decisions. Some of the decisions could have gone either way, but I still respect what they've decided. I mean, it seemed fair. Now you did say that you believe that Travis Reeder should have beaten Piotr Visic.
I don't think we need to get into that. I just think that you're right. I think overall it was a good event. Yeah, I had some issues here and there, like minor issues with some of the calls, but yeah, I can see how it could be argued against it.
Yeah.
Was it entertaining? Yeah, I'd say it was. I mean,
oh yeah,
I saw it from a different perspective, but overall, I think it was entertaining.
Especially top 16 and on, it was very exciting.
I like some of the new cars that came in. I'm curious to see how they're gonna do the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Ow. Sheesh. That barrier does not like me at all.
No.
But I think I can't help but feel like, is it more the same? Like, yeah, I see these cars. We see a lot of these cars the same, like they come out every year. But is it getting to the point where it's getting, may become a little dull, seeing the same kind of cars, seeing same kind of layouts, or?
Well, I have an opinion on that where, like, yeah, a lot of the cars are the same. Especially this year, there wasn't a lot of big changes, except for a lot of the new guys coming in and bringing in their cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, the car aspect might be getting a little stale because it is the same cars most of the time. But
oh shoot,
I'm really thinking that the level of driving has gone up this year, and I think that's where the excitement's going to be coming from. I mean, especially considering that you got rookies that are putting it to the veterans. I mean, Travis Reeder might have lost that battle against Visic, but it wasn't a landslide victory. I mean, he really made it. He made it tough for the judges. I see where the judges were coming from. I did think that Visic was smoother overall, but let's consider the fact that Reeder was in a 500 horsepower car and Visic is driving a 900 horsepower car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think a lot of the excitement's going to be coming from the level of driving this year. I thought last year the level of driving was not going to be surpassed very much, and I'm already being blown away. I mean, more than 10 people had 90-point scores in qualifying. And they were given to them rightfully so because the driving was that good.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, yeah, I remember when Chelsea came out and got his 95 or 97 point run, and I was like, whoa, like, what a, like, and Chelsea's really impressing me talent wise. Excuse me. He just needs to work a little bit on the being a little more strategic and just not letting other drivers get into his head. But yeah, I mean, wow, the driving was very impressive this weekend for the most part.
Last question. What are your thoughts on the broadcast overall?
Had a few issues on Friday, but we've come to expect that from the live stream. But overall, Saturday, I mean, it was good. It was good. I might have missed a couple of things here and there, but I mean,
Yeah, like the donk.
yeah, I definitely missed that. But I mean, wow, I can't complain. I mean, everything ran pretty smoothly, and I mean, we also got to take into consideration these are free broadcasts. I mean, you don't have to pay for cable. Granted, you do have to pay for internet, but you're gonna pay for that anyway.
No,
but you don't have to pay for cable or anything.
We do have to pay for something. We have to pay for the time that we waste having to sit through the commercial breaks.
Yeah, I mean, but we are watching a live event. It's kind of tough to not have that. But I'm a little more impressed this time around that they got through a whole at least Saturday with no major issues. So yeah.
I had one issue at one point where there was I think it was with the Ferrari, and they had the whole battle took place with the result, and there was no play-by-play commentary. Jerry was nowhere to be found.
I'm not remembering that, but I may have skipped over that one.
Yeah.
Or that was early on too, so I may have missed it. But if you say so, I believe you.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. I was like, wait, hold on, what's going on here? Like, there's a battle and there's no play-by-play. And it's just, oh my god, so irritating.
Yeah. But we've come to expect things like this out of FD. But
10 years,
still,
right?
And then, 10 years, dude. This is their 16th season.
Okay, well, I mean, 16 years.
Yeah.
16 years and still sideways, right?
At least they're trying to be. But yeah, we talk a lot of crap about FD, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that there's a series here in the States where you get to see some of the best drivers in the world, considering the fact that a lot of these people from other countries want to come over here and prove themselves. Because even though I grew up with D1 and I've always thought that those were the best drivers in drifting, it's been coming over this way now, where everybody really wants to be out here. Finance permitting, financially permit, whatever. Because it is very expensive to run here. I mean, some of these guys are, spending a lot of money to be out here. But it's great. It's great. I prefer some of the grassroots stuff. Drifting, but hey, man, Formula D carries all the drama, so it's always fun to watch.
Ah, shoot. That was not good. That was no bueno.
No, he's not. Any final thoughts or anything else you want to add on to this?
Hold on. Let me just get this entry down really good, because that last one really bothered me. Damn it, stupid walk. Why can't you, move over for a couple of inches? Oh, shoot. Screw it.
Yeah, can't talk bad about Pat if we're going to be driving like this.
Yep. I don't know what you talk about. I didn't talk bad about Pat. You did.
I know. I know, but I'm driving bad too, so.
My conscience is clear, sir. All right? There's no need for me to feel bad about my driving.
I'm not going to feel bad anyway.
Yeah, I mean, final thoughts? Not really. I mean, I said what I needed to say. I think the event went well overall. Obviously, like you said, it's got to have its moments. It's got to have its drama. It comes with the territory. Uh, but I think you're onto something in regards to the skill of the drivers going to be. Uh, hopefully, it becomes more prevalent, and it leads to more of a shift change in regards to what we see on the podium stage.
Right, right, and that's what I'm most likely, what I'm most excited to see is what I meant to say. Because I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, you know, James Dean and Frederick Osborne are some of the best drivers the series has ever seen. But you know, it does get boring to see them all the time. You know, like great, you know, like we want to see something else. You know, and I mean, I'm excited because a lot of cars seem to be a lot better set up now. I mean, particularly speaking about the RTR cars.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. No, that was on you.
Yeah, that was on me.
Yeah, the RTR cars are now they're awesome to watch. I mean, both drivers, they're incredible drivers, and now their cars seem like they are suiting the drivers a lot better. And you know, so I mean, as I was saying, Chelsea had a few runs where I was blown away with his driving. I mean, it was so aggressive and so I mean, unreal. But you know, but they also have stiff competition coming from all over. So I mean, you know, it's Odie's obviously leading the championship now with that win.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not going to come easy for him. I don't think. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to match his skill, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to play spoiler, especially some of these rookies. Some of them are going to get some round wins, and that might be against some of the championship leaders. So I'm very excited to see how this shapes out this year.
I think the real winner is the person who put together that donk. Give him the championship. Give him the prize money. There's no need for 8, 10 rounds, whatever. Forget that. Just give it to him. Call it a year. That's it.
Can you imagine somebody next year builds like a professional donk drift car?
They need to. They need to. Oh my god, my mouth is salivating at that thought.
It actually does well.
I mean, heck, it'll bring a lot of excitement to the series, especially when it flips over. I mean,
they might engineer it to three-wheel like the RTR cars used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you thought Mustangs could three-wheel? Check out this Monte Carlo. Oh, those Montes. Oh boy. Well, I think it was a good chat. What's the next? Where does the series go to next?
Goes to Orlando. Boy, I need to know what. I think it's the same weekend that Avengers Endgame comes out on. So the 26th?
Sorry, but FD's going on, but it has nothing on Thanos and Endgame. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but are you gonna pay $10,000 for a ticket to go watch that movie on those days? I'll wait till the Sunday or the Monday.
Huh. No, I definitely won't. But, I mean, perhaps the only person that could possibly take on Thanos is the inflatable guy that they use at the dealer lots.
I thought you were gonna say Ant-Man with a lot of the theories that have been out there.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
But if it does happen, I will be highly entertained.
I mean, you saw it at the broadcast, right? How they kept focusing on the inflatable, right?
I
Or did he just skip through it?
probably skipped through it.
Ah, it's like you focus on the wrong things of the event.
Well, this is why we need to start watching them together.
Dude, it's the small things that count. I mean, look at that thing. Even the fact that they brought it into this game, it tells you the importance of it. Hold on, I gotta.
So wait, this was actually at the event, and now we're seeing it in the game.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, all right, I'm coming that way. I gotta see this thing.
You never noticed an inflatable thing on the in this track?
In the game, yeah, I've noticed it. Yeah, that thing is huge. Holy cow!
That's what she said.
That thing's like that thing's like King Kong.
Growl. Wait, there's one back there? No, it's just this one. I mean, I think they need to work on the physics of it a little better, but I think they got it right for the most part.
Yeah, it does look a little wonky.
See, another example of why they need the drone mode in this game.
Oh yeah,
I
drone
mean,
mode would be amazing.
It's like, forget the helicopter. Nobody really cares about it. If anything, it's annoying having that around. Let's get the drone mode in this.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future of Forza, we'll see them having, like, you'll be racing down the track and you'll see, like, drones fly down towards the track and stuff. You know, like, as you're driving. Like, at least give us, like, a new visual treat, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it is becoming very popular in motorsports to see drones. So, I mean, time is coming for that, you know?
Yeah. It's so easy to get carried away with the angle in this car.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, next round is Orlando, which...
Ow!
Sorry. Which, let's be honest, not the most exciting round.
It kind of is, because a lot of these cars break down, and we see some very spectacular breakdowns, like fires.
Well, I'll reiterate what I meant to say. It's not the most exciting track layout, but there has been a lot of things that have happened in Orlando that cause a lot of excitement. So you just never know.
Exactly. And we hope to continue with our feedback of the events, including the Orlando one that we'll do around the time that it gets released. And maybe we'll do a live one. If not, we'll do we'll do something live. We'll try to at least. That way we could easily quickly give our feedback on the runs, because we used to do that, where we'd give our scores and match it up with what the judges would ultimately decide on. Oop.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Oh, you're good.
Oh.
In any case,
right, so
I will end the transmission and catch you on the next time, where we plan to talk about not so much drifting, but more about other stuff, like the movie Aquaman. Yes, it's a little different, it's off topic, but you're gonna want to hear what we think about Manfish.
H2O boy.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, Waterboy.
Yes, Waterboy, you're right.
I didn't
You
think
are
of that.
right.
Wow.
Yeah. Your
Now
water
I know if they,
sucks. It
if
really, really sucks.
hey, if they ever have to recast Aquaman, then I guess
Call Adam
Adam
Sandler.
Sandler would be, yeah, he'll be the next choice.
Mm-hmm. He's a backup man. All right then. Till next time.